mother!
You know, it's not hard to realize that I'm part of a tag team that is considered one of the most decorated tag teams in the history of this business. 24-time World Tag Team Champion. And you know something? I think it's only fitting right now that we take a look at some of those tag teams that we've been in the ring with. You know, sometimes we had good times, sometimes we had bad times. Sometimes we got along with them, but then sometimes we didn't. I'm gonna let you know who we did break bread with and get along with, and who we just wanted to kick their ass. The Brothers of Destruction, The Undertaker, and Kane. You know, being in the ring with these guys, it was badass. I mean, two of the biggest guys in WWE at the time, and two of the most over guys in the WWE. When those two hit the ring, the crowd erupted. It was a great feeling. There were times in the ring where me and Kane would be in the ring and you would forget he was Glenn Jacobs. I remember one time I looked over at him and he does the Michael Myers where he just stares and looks at me and then tilts the head. And I looked and Bubba goes, Devon, go lock up. I go, I can't move. But you know something? Those two guys helped me and Bubba out tremendously. They were there for us. They guided us. I mean, what can I say? I've got nothing but love, respect, and honor for The Undertaker and Kane. Thank you guys for everything that you did for Bubba and I. The Usos. Back during the Attitude Era, their father, Rikishi, helped me out tremendously. Guided me through the whole Reverend Devon, and I never forgot it. It was one of those things where when me and Bubba came back to the WWE in 2015, and we actually started working with them, I told them that the same way their father helped me, I was gonna help them. It was a pleasure and an honor to be with them at our last WrestleMania, to have a match with the Usos and to lay down for them because they deserved it. They were the tag team of the future and we were happy to do that. What they're doing now in the WWE is probably some of the best work they have ever done in their whole career. This whole thing with the bloodline and Roman Reigns is just tremendous. And their little brother, Solo Sikoa, I mean, everything. I mean, they're tearing it up. And I'm very happy to see that and hear that. You know, Jimmy coming into his own, Jay really coming into his own. You know, I'm very happy and honored to say that I got a chance to work with those guys and to help them get to the level that they're at. Not only in-ring talent, but even as a producer. The Usos came to me while I was producing their match one time and asked me, was it okay if they used a 3D? I told them, I said, of course it's okay. Why not? We're not using it. The Dudley boys don't use it no more. It would be an honor and a privilege if you did. And then one day I was home after my back surgery, watching one of the pay-per-views, and out of nowhere they hit the 3D. I jumped up because I was happy they hit it perfect. And it was one of those things where I called them right away and said, fucking great job, man. Great job on the 3D. You guys did great. I was like, I couldn't be more proud of you guys. And I know they kept saying, thanks, D, man. Thank you so much for everything. It was like having a moment with those guys, you know? Too Cool, Grandmaster Sexy, Scotty 2 Hotty, and Rikishi. You know, next to the Dudleys being a three-man tag, Too Cool was right there with them. Rikishi with that big Samoan ass, doing his stink face, doing what he did. Unfortunately, I had to take the stink face a couple of times. I'm not gonna go into detail, okay? Didn't like it, didn't want it, but I did it for the money. One of the greatest moments I think I had with them was when they asked us to dance with them in the middle of the ring. You can catch that on YouTube as well, the Dudleys and Too Cool dancing together. It was really a great time. And here's the rib. It's an old dance that they do. It's called the bus stop. And they basically go from side to side, then go forward, then back, and then switch over, and they do the same thing again. Well, I remember going out there, right before I went out there, I asked Grandmaster Sexy, I said, which way do I go? To my left or to my right first? He goes, go to your left, go to your left. And sure enough, the music hit, Rikishi goes down, Rikishi goes 1, 2, 3. I go to my left and I bump into Scotty 2 Hotty. I go, son of a bitch. I had to go back in the frame. It was difficult. I remember going in the back going, I'm gonna kill you. I'm going to murder you. Why would you tell me to go left? He's laughing his ass off. He goes, I told you to go right. I go, no, you didn't. You knew you didn't, Brian. Why would you tell me on national TV to go the wrong way? And of course, I got ribbed in the back, you know, by all the boys. You know, you messed up. You could have messed up everything. And the wrong person to see it is Bradshaw. When Bradshaw saw it, forget about it. He didn't let me down. He let me hear that for the next 6 months that I went the wrong way in doing that move. all because Brian, Grandmaster Sexy, told me to go the wrong way. But, again, love those guys, and it was an honor and a pleasure. James Storm and Bobby Roode, beer money. One of the greatest things about working with these guys is that they would bring beer to the ring. So whenever I get thrown out on the outside of the ring, I would go to where they left their beer and just guzzle it down. So I was having a beer before the match was even over. A lot of times I was drunk as hell before the match was over, but we won't tell nobody. But these guys were great. I loved Bobby Roode. I thought he was a mixture of Triple H and Mr. Perfect combined into one. And James Storm was just some crazy cowboy that loved to fight. Put those two together and you're gonna have a fight on your hands. They helped us just as much as we helped them. And I will say that those two together were money. APA, Bradshaw, and Farouk. So I firmly believe that Vince had the APA test us, because when the Public Enemy came in, and the Public Enemy being from ECW, and the way they left, they were gonna make sure that the Dudley Boys weren't the Public Enemy. So I believe they might have gave Ron and John the Iggy to go ahead and give it to us. And they did. We did a promo cutting it on APA while they were waiting in the background to come and just beat the living holy hell out of us. And that's exactly what they did. But something, at the end of the day, we got up and we said thank you, because that ass kicking proved that the Dudley Boys were no joke, and that we were coming to the WWE to make a name for ourselves and to fit into the family. One of our finest memories was when I got the name Devin as opposed to Devon from Farouk. I walked into the locker room, him and I was gonna have a singles match, and I said, Mr. Farouk, how you doing? I'm Devon. Hello, Devin. I said, it's Devon, sir. That's what I said, Devin. From that point on, my name was Devin, because I wasn't messing with him. Farouk was a legit badass, an ass kicker. But you know what? In all fairness, those guys gave us such great advice over the years and helped us in our career. I have nothing but love for APA, and they had nothing but love for us. They didn't kill us. But in all hindsight, I love these guys. Again, a great tag team that we were able to work with, and someone we can call our brothers. The New Day. These are my boys, love them to death. I do remember the night that Bubba and I came back. When that pyro hit and people found out it was the Dudleys, they went crazy. And New Day's reaction was priceless. And us coming down there and doing what we did to them, it was definitely a strong introduction for the Dudleys to return back to the WWE and take over where we left off. Working with the New Day really, really made the Dudleys feel like we still had it. We were the veterans now. We were considered the old guys. We were considered the guys that needed to learn how to hang with the young guys. And we did that. I definitely feel that the New Day was probably one of the greatest tag teams to ever follow in our footsteps. And I say that because they gave us so much credit and said how much they admired us as a tag team. So to be able to work with us was great. And for us to be able to work with them was even better. These two guys, I know them as a tag team, but more as a singles. Dave Batista and Randy Orton. You see, Batista, when I was doing the Reverend Devon character, I brought Batista in. He was my deacon. And we would going around the cities collecting donations for the Reverend Devon and the Devon Building Fund, which some people claim that they never seen a doorknob or a window or anything changed, but they saw a lot of jewelry on my hand. And I was not going to say that was because of the Reverend Devon Building Fund, but, in all hindsight, I had a very good time working with those guys, especially helping Batista along the way. I love the fact that Batista gives me credit a lot in the interviews that he does with me helping him with his career when he first came into the WWE. And I was married to Randy Orton for the first 6-7 months of his career when he first came into the WWE. We were wrestling every week. And it was great to wrestle with him because I got the chance to be in a ring with a really, really young Randy Orton that basically gave all he had, was very athletic. And you knew right off the bat that Randy had something to give to this business. And that's why he became one of the biggest superstars that this business has ever seen. Not because he worked with me, but because he had that hunger and desire to come in here and to do that and to be number one. Randy had a tremendous career, and I was very, very proud to see what he had become from the first time I saw him. And Batista going off to Hollywood, doing what he's doing, man, I can't say anymore. I mean, he is a huge, huge movie star, and I hope nothing and pray for the best for him and everything that he does in the future. The Wyatt family. Love these guys. Had many great matches when me and Bubba returned back to the WWE. All of these guys made it very possible for me and Bubba to have a great return. All of them, all four of them. Bray, loved him. He will be missed. Probably one of the greatest big men of this era. Harper, another one. Big, rugged, but yet could go. I was so happy to be able to be in a ring with them and to be able to create history when the Dudley Boys returned back to the WWE. Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney, chair swinging freaks. So one of the greatest memories I have about this is that when we were wrestling with these guys was when we decided to do the flaming tables. Balls was right there going, "You're gonna put me through the table, right? You're gonna put me through the table." He was crazy. He didn't care. He wanted fire. He wanted thumbtacks. He wanted to get burned. I should have known right then and there. Somebody that was so intense in terms of getting into fire and thumbtacks and getting put through it is not dealing with a full deck. Balls Mahoney was not dealing with a full deck, but I loved him dearly. But again, great times, great memories, and miss those guys dearly. The Young Bucks. Although they were a small team compared to me and Bubba, smaller guys were able to push us to a level that we probably didn't think we could go to. And the Young Bucks were definitely one of those teams. It was great being able to do the high-flying stuff with them because we hadn't done it since the Hardy Boys, and they kind of reminded us of the Hardys. They were young, hungry, and willing to do anything to be on our level. I give the Young Bucks a lot of credit. They took it from us as much as they gave it to us. So again, one of the teams that I love to work with, the Young Bucks. New Jack and Mustafa, the Gangstas. One of the baddest tag teams in ECW. I had the pleasure with working with New Jack and Mustafa on many occasions in ECW. As a matter of fact, New Jack and Mustafa helped the Dudley Boys get to that next level. New Jack was one of a kind. Every time we would enter a building and he knew he was wrestling the Dudleys, he would look for the highest balcony there was in the building so he could jump off of it. Personally, I thought that was crazy, but that was New Jack, and that was the way he was. New Jack was very underestimated when it came to learning how to work in the ring. People thought New Jack was just a guy that threw a garbage can in the ring and used weapons. But New Jack, when he wanted to, could actually wrestle and could actually work. A lot of people didn't know that because he didn't portray that in the ring. He portrayed a different side of him, and that was the hardcore style. He thought that was better to portray than the actual wrestler. And I'll be honest with you, who's to say that he was wrong? He had a very successful career. He is known as one of the ECW originals. And again, nobody will do it better than Mustafa and New Jack. Edge and Christian. I know these guys oh so well. They are the guys that helped put the Dudleys on the map. It was great working with Edge and Christian. Creatively, Edge was a genius. He was really good. He was just flowing with ideas. And Christian had his ideas as well. I think Christian was a little apprehensive on hanging with me on top, hanging for the belts, because he knew how hard that bump was. I think Christian might have been just a little bit more nervous about being on a ladder hanging 30 feet up in the air than I was. But we got it done and we did it. Memorable matches that will never be forgotten, that are still talked about 30 years later. With all of the TLC matches that we've had over the years, the matches on Raw and SmackDown, these guys right here made it very special for the Dudley Boys. If it wasn't for them, we would not be the Dudley Boys. So I can't do nothing but thank Edge and Christian for all their contributions to the Dudley Boys' career. Again, there'll be nothing ever like this again. the Hardy Boyz. These two guys will always be synonymous with the Dudley Boyz. That match that we had at the Royal Rumble, that tables match, that helped put the Dudley Boyz on the map and helped the WWE to take the Dudley Boyz serious. If it wasn't for that match, I don't know if there would be a TLC match. I don't know if we would have all of those memorable matches that we've had with the Hardys and Edge and Christian. But all I know is that tables match did it all. The biggest difference between Jeff and Matt was that Jeff was crazy as hell and Matt was the calm one. Jeff put his body on the line, didn't care, he wasn't scared, nothing. So if Jeff wanted to do it, he would just do it. Whatever popped in Jeff's mind, he would do. And if it meant putting his body on the line and hurting himself, he would do it. That was just the way Jeff was. Believe me, I found out that the hard way hanging with him 30 feet up in the air. I tell Jeff all the time, every time I see him, I will never hang with you 30 feet up in the air again. I love you, but not that much. And you know, it's funny because me and Matt became so close that I named my son, my third son, after Matt. And that's how close the Dudleys and the Hardys were. So I was very happy to be able to share a ring with those guys and have those memorable TLC matches. Because again, without those matches, there would be no Edge and Christian, there would be no Hardys, and there sure as hell would be no Dudley Boyz. So thank you, Hardys. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for this team, the Dudley Boyz wouldn't be the Dudley Boyz. These two gentlemen right here are the reason why the Dudley Boyz wanted to become a tag team. As far as I'm concerned, people like to say that the Dudley Boyz are the greatest tag team in the history of this business. Hell, me and Bubba say it sometimes, but that's not the case. LOD, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, there is your greatest tag team of all time. Watching them, the way they would enter the ring and how they would just bulldoze people and just beat the living hell out of them. And then to watch documentaries later, hearing reports of people getting in the ring with them and were petrified because that's what they did. They put fear in people. It was kind of like Michael Jordan putting fear in the basketball world when you pissed Michael off. You know, you didn't do that. You kept your mouth shut. Well, that was the same thing with the Road Warriors. You kept your mouth shut because if you didn't, you would pay an ultimate price. It was a pleasure and an honor to know them and to be able to tell them that we thought that they were the greatest tag team in the history of this business. We would take a second seat to them any day. The advice that both Animal and Hawk gave to me and Bubba was to kick ass always. Never ever lighten up. And if they don't like it, too bad. Not one tag team that I mentioned, not one, did we ever not get along with. The most decorated tag team in the history of this business, not from the Dudley Boyz alone, but for every single one of those tag teams that we had stepped in the ring with. It wasn't the Dudley Boyz by themselves to create this legacy. It was every single one of those teams that I mentioned. That's what put the Dudley Boyz on the map. They helped us and guided us. And I want to thank each and every one of those tag teams for being so special to the Dudley Boyz. And thank you for putting your body and putting it on the line for us to be able to get to where we are today. Testify. Hello, everybody, and thank you for watching this YouTube channel. I would hope that you would please like and subscribe to this channel. Get the word out there, because you know what? It's always time to get the tables. And oh, my brother, testify. See you soon.